My name's Kevin with Hotshot Repair, and today I'm taking a look at an iPhone SE that has a broken screen. As we can see, the screen still works where you can see and touch things. So all we really need to do is replace the screen on it. Do my before and after photo here. Now to start, we remove the two pentalobe screws from the bottom of the phone. Try to set these aside and keep them organized. I use a pry tool to get under the screen. Then we just lift it up a little bit so that we can get to the little home button cable that's in there. I like to remove the battery connector cover plate. And unplug the battery before I get to the LCD. Now there's 4 screws in the LCD connector cover plate right here. You want to set these aside and keep them organized because some of them are different sizes, and if you put them in the wrong spot, you'll damage something. Then I just use my fingernail to unplug the home button, the LCD, and the digitizer cover connector. As we set the frame aside, I start removing the ear speaker bracket. It has 2 screws that are different sizes, so you want to keep those separated. And then a pair of tweezers just to get under this little latch here, so that the speaker lifts up. Then I remove the 1 screw from the top of the LCD back plate, and remove the bottom screw, and the 2 home button bracket screws. Remove the home button bracket. And then I use a pry tool to lift up on the home button, remove it. Now a pair of tweezers to get under the ear speaker connection. Lift that up. And then I'll remove the 4 screws from the LCD back plate. And remove it. Now your old screen's off. This is what it looks like. Here's the LCD right here. The glass sits on top of that, and in between the two is a touchscreen. So often, if your LCD still works, you'll find that your touchscreen usually still works, probably. If your LCD is broken where you have black blobs or weird lines going down the screen, you'll find that your touchscreen does not work or will touch things on its own and could disable the phone. That's why I get a little bit leery when the LCD is broken, because the phone is probably touching things on its own, and the phone could be disabled and you wouldn't know it. That's the LCD. We'll set it aside. I start by putting in the ear speaker, the top microphone first, and then slide the back plate into position. And we secure the 4 screws that hold it on. Then I move on to the home button. And then reinstall the 2 screws that hold the home button bracket in. Now I like to peel away this film a little bit and make sure that the home button feels like it should. It shouldn't feel like it's raised up, and it shouldn't feel like it's depressed. You know, you want to make sure there's some click to it, and make sure that it feels nice and even. And then I flip over the home button cable. Reinstall that screw. We'll save that for a bit. Now the proximity sensor, which is right here, this little black box, goes into a plastic holder that's on the screen. That's what keeps the proximity sensor lined up, so that it disables the screen during a call and you're not touching things with your head. So it goes in its black box, or it goes in its holder. And then the ear speaker goes on top. We reinstall the 2 screws and the top screw for the LCD back. Now, reinstalling the screen, I like to start with the bottom cable first. So if we flip up these 3 layers of cables, I start with this one first, this one second, and this one third. You just this is something you just get a feeling for over time. Now we're just putting this in temporarily here. So that we can fire it up, make sure it works. Screen looks good. Home button still works. Touch screen still works. So we're going to remove the home button again. Reinstall the LCD connector cover. We want to be mindful that we're reinstalling the screws in the spots that they originally came out of. Because if you put, say, a longer screw where a short screw should have been, you can damage the logic board. And that can get pricey to repair. Now putting the home button back in the phone. I don't know if I'd be able to show you a screen. Show you what I'm looking at here. I like to pull focus. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I like to pull the home button gently out a little bit and then put it over its connector. I don't know if you'll be able to see it right there. And then press it in. Come on, right there. And then you can kind of see that it's on there. And then with the little thing right here, the little cover for it goes in on top. And I just press it in with a pair of tweezers. After that's done, I press the screen top first into its frame and it'll seat down, and then kind of holding forward pressure on it, I just kind of pop it the rest of the way. And then you kind of look around the edge to make sure that it's nice and even, that this corner is not raised up or this corner. Let me start it up again. And what we're looking for here is that there's no uneven light spots. If a LCD has pressure on it, say from behind, you'll see a lighter spot right here. It almost looks like something's pressing on an LCD TV. You get this kind of ripple type of effect. So we're pressing on the screen to make sure that the battery's not swelling or that nothing on the back of the phone is getting in the way. And we're just going to make sure that the screen still works, which it does. So you can say, ooh, 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 ooh. And then we reinstall the two pentalobe screws. And that's that. And we take our after photo. Boop. And that's it. We set it aside and wait for the customer to come pick it up.